Hey Saints fans, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to talk about Chris Olave. And I honestly didn't want to do this coming into this because there's so much going around Saints social media about Olave to the point he's being called Brandon Cooks 2.0 and they should trade him and he's a diva. And look, I've said it, I've shown it. Has Chris Olave had half reps and not putting in 100% effort? He has. There's also a lot of things being blamed on Olave that shouldn't be blamed on Olave, and the truth is the New Orleans Saints offensive problems are multi-layered. We've pointed out Carr having problems, Carmichael being problems, Olave being problems, and it's everywhere. And it's really important to me to put the blame where it needs to go. So in today's video, we're going to show you whether Chris Olave is to blame, whether Derek Carr is to blame, whether it's play calls or a mix of everything, but you can have the tape and see it for yourself. And no, I would not bench Chris Olave. I think that's insane. Nor would I trade him. One of the only positive young stars you have on this offense, definitely not getting rid of. But let's go ahead and roll the tape. Okay, so let's start with the big one. This play has literally gotten national attention, national coverage here. So I want to do a few different things. I want to break down the play and show that there are multiple levels of this. I'm just going to go ahead and be upfront. My biggest issue with this play is actually Derek Carr. I said it on Twitter the other day, and it is true. Deuce McAllister has said it. Michael Thomas came out and said it. Chris Olave himself said it. Dennis Allen said it. Chris Olave does not run the route correctly here, which leads to Derek Carr making the decision to just throw a deep shot away. Just throw it for the sake of throwing it. Now, to be very clear, I've got two big problems with that. I'll talk about it, but it is true that, yes, Chris Olave is not running his rep here. And look, there has been a theme over the past few weeks where Chris Olave has shown low effort, right? It's not every rep has been perfect. You'll see examples in this video of Chris Olave running these type of routes with amazing speed and doing a great, fantastic job. Key is he doesn't do it here. Let's talk about the play design. The design is you want to get this to Taysom Hill. He's your number one read, and you're just trying to get him to an out route. Now, to help clear this out so that you can get this first down, you want Chris Olave to fly. So the pre-snap read is a quarters type look right here. Now, you'll see the DBs here. I actually reached out and was talking to a former Saints scout, and we kind of came to the same conclusion with this quarters type look that, yes, this play should have a read and should work, but also you have a probably better read backside with Michael Thomas, who he himself called himself the number 3 read. But you're going to have this little pivot route, little in route there by Rashid Shaheed, and then you're going to have this post route that hits underneath. So I'm going to let y'all watch it full speed, and then we're going to talk about it, and I'm going to talk about the several problems that I have, issues that I have with this play. So we have this right here, and that's going to be the point you see Derek Carr kind of getting frustrated. So as we roll, I'm going to play it slow and pause it right here. I'm going to pause it. So Chris Olave is not flying through this route. He is not attacking. So the whole goal is, and Thomas says this, the whole idea is that he really wants to attack that outside shoulder. He wants to get that leverage and drive upfield to make sure that the backside DBs up here devote themselves to covering his route, which is by extension then going to open up this area of the field, making it an easy first down for Taysom Hill. Now I'll say one thing first. Yes, Olave does not go full on this route. Number one, I don't think that matters. I think, and guess what? The former Saints scout that I talked to agreed, the window's still there. It doesn't matter that Chris Olave gave half effort. It doesn't. Now, I'm not saying that he should give half effort. I'm not making an excuse for half effort. We're talking about professionals here. And I don't care if you're frustrated with Pete Carmichael, Derek Carr, your mama, your daddy, your auntie, somebody in the fans who threw popcorn at you. I don't care. You're professional, 100% effort every route. Michael Thomas does it. Alvin Kamara does it. Do it. Give me all your play. But I don't think it matters. Derek Carr's going to do a little hitch here. Now, there's a reason for his little hitch, by the way. Derek Carr, the intention of the hitch is to try to show that pump fake and get that DB to commit. So either way, though, this is open. Like, this is a window. You've got the inside guy who has that lower hook curl type coverage. Well, he's sticking to his zone. You've got both DBs who are committed to Olave, and the window is there. Throw it within touch anticipation. You got a first down. Instead, he flings it, just throws it for the sake of throwing it, and it's out of bounds. Yes, Olave stopped on the route, and yes, Olave gave low effort, but it was never supposed to go to him anyway. Yes, he should still sell it. The whole point, by the way, I want to reiterate this. Olave still does bad, but I'm going to talk about this in this video. There's a concept of ownership, and one thing that I've noticed a lot on social media is we just want to blame one guy instead of recognizing that there's problems all over the field and then giving credit to who actually deserves most of the vitriol, the anger, the frustration as a Saints fan. Yes, Chris Olave does not run a route well here, and he doesn't sell it, but it still worked. So at most, you're giving him, 20-30% of the blame. Almost all the blame needs to go on Derek Carr here. Why? Several different things. Number one, I feel like that's still open. That read is there. You got 10 yards of sideline with nobody working in that area. The pre-snap read, especially if you're seeing quarters coverage, this should be an area of the field that is available to attack. I don't know why he doesn't do that. But let's leave this side of the field, okay? I agree. Yes, Chris Olave did a half rep. He shouldn't do that. Derek Carr still missed the read completely. He should have made the throw and attempt no matter what. But let me talk about my pre-snap read again. If we are seeing quarters, and look, coverages can be very difficult to diagnose pre-snap because NFL teams rotate all the time. One thing that the Jaguars were doing this game was playing cover 2, but Tampa 2 specifically. They were dropping the middle linebacker back into the hole. That doesn't happen here. Now, Michael Thomas himself came out and told us the play, said the read is 7, 22, 13. So 1, 2, 3 is a full field read. We talk about this all the time. Full field. So you actually have to scan. All the safeties know what's happening. My pre-snap read would tell me that I'm seeing middle of the field open and a quarters look. Now, you can worry about it turning into, say, cover 3 buzz, which also could be called cover 3 robber, where they're going to leak this guy down into the middle, and then this guy drops like that. They don't do that here. At what point does your pre-snap read not tell you that Michael Thomas is going to be wide open on a post route? Because if you've ever wondered what an NFL opening looks like, it's that 10-yard box right there. That is open. Yes, we much better shot of throwing it backside to Michael Thomas with for an NFL, pretty clean pocket. Yes, some pressure is coming, but you can tell that he's predetermined to throw here no matter what. So fine. He never progresses through his read, which he has Michael Thomas here on the backside. But even if you're going here, there's still the read. It's still there. I don't care. I care, but it's not Olave's fault that this read isn't there. It's there. Yes, Olave gives you 80% effort. Okay, throw the damn ball. Throwing it away on a critical third down when you're down by a touchdown trying to make it back and win this game makes no sense. And my issue is I've always been the one, I want to call out people who deserve to be called out, and I want to praise you when you deserve to be praised. Derek Carr has gotten hate at times that he doesn't deserve, but he's also gotten it when he does deserve. Remember, beginning of the season, I was doing pull the trigger episodes on Derek Carr, right? So it's not like Derek Carr has been blameless for months. But this play, for whatever reason, has become all about Chris Olave. And it needs to be about Derek Carr. Derek Carr has the window. Cool, Chris Olave doesn't give effort. Why is he getting the throw anyway? It doesn't make any sense. So I've spent 7 minutes talking about this play. I apologize, but there's layers to it. And at the end of the day, yes, Olave doesn't give a full effort, and we can get upset about that. But Derek Carr screws the pooch on this one. He's got multiple options. He never progresses through his read, and the primary read is there. Throw the damn football. All right, Saints fans, let's hit another one. I promise this one won't take 7 minutes. Remember how I talk about the problems being multiple layers and multifaceted? Here's New Orleans trying to run a Yankee concept again. Pressure ends up forcing Derek Carr out, and I'll give Derek Carr credit for actually rushing for the first down because he almost never does this. Now, Chris Olave is part of this, which is why I was including the video, and Chris Olave does his job well here. His job here in the Yankee concept, for those that don't remember this, we actually have it on a t-shirt. If you want to grab it, this is very famous for the pull the trigger episodes. So the goal is post route goes deep, crossing pattern brings in inside. So it's a 2-route concept with a couple of little dump offs underneath, but the goal is guy in the middle. If the safety commits down, we go over the top. If the safety commits to the top, we go underneath. That's the design. Now, when I'm talking about blame to go around, the primary guy here, Keith Kirkwood. Now, I'm not trying to sound like a hater, but from a play design perspective, why is Keith Kirkwood the primary deep route? Why is the goal to throw the ball to Keith Kirkwood 35 yards down the field? No offense, Keith Kirkwood, but Rashid Shaheed, Chris Olave, hell, even Michael Thomas, Keith Kirkwood? Anyway, let's run the play and see it. You can see Olave's effort is good here. I love his spacing and the depth. He gets this play right, again, at the drop. There's the read. You've got that safety coming down. So that read is right by Carr. He's actually reading the right thing here, and he wants to plant and then get it to Kirkwood. He wants to make that throw. Now, in this cover 3, what they're doing is the coverage replace where this backside corner who is over here is going to replace that safety's role. So it's going to be a tough little split here, but this is honestly a throw that you still make if you aren't being rushed out of the pocket by pressure immediately. But in terms of Olave's route, does a good job. You see good speed there, good effort, and a good design. In terms of Olave, I still have an issue with Keith Kirkwood being our primary read, 35 plus yards downfield, and I give Carr credit for finding a way to make a first down because he never does this type of scramble. This play dies very early on because of pressure in the interior right there. But even then, I question the design overall. One thing I've talked about with Olave, if you want to see him perform more consistently and better, is get him the ball early. Some guys, especially receivers, need to touch the ball early to get invested in the game. Hell, Aaron Rodgers talked about this on the Pat McAfee show. I actually really like this play design. It's really early in the game in the first quarter. Cute little screen idea here where you're going to have a little crisscross, very similar like a scissor concept, except both guys are essentially staying one in the flat, one in a short curl, and you see it opens up space for Olave as well as gives him a singular blocker. Michael Thomas goes for first down, yards after catch. These are actually the type of plays I want to see them give Olave more of, as well as those intermediate and deep shots. You can't use them as a clear out every play. You got to give him the ball, and I like this as a good get him started play. All right, another one. This time we have Olave on a crossing pattern here, and I feel like he just needs to run this a little bit crisper. And there are two problems here. Again, we talk about problems being one person and the other at the same time. Derek Carr is a problem here. Chris Olave is a problem here. We're talking about Derek Carr because I want you to see from this angle. Derek Carr has a clean pocket. He needs to release this ball and get it in front of Olave. So right here, that's behind him. This is a very bad throw. Poor ball placement by Derek Carr here, but the route's also bad by Chris Olave. I'm going to tell you why. So if we rewind this here just a smidgen, let's come back to this angle. Now, the key is when you make this, you want to be able to plant with one foot and go. Like, you don't want to what's called rounding off your route. Even on a crossing pattern, you have to have some crispness there. So you'll notice that right there, 1, 2, 3, 4, he's got basically a 4-step turn instead of it being sharp, which gives the DB time to make his turn and get in on the play. That's a great job, by the way. 23 is no slouch. I know a lot of Saints fans hadn't necessarily heard of him, but he's a very good player there for Jacksonville. But look at this. You see, they've got him, or he has this outside presence, and Olave, if he's sharper, can break this inside and create separation. But because his route is so rounded, he's never able to complete separation. He actually plays into the DB, which puts the DB in a position to make a play. There's two problems here. If Olave runs this crisper, even though Derek Carr throws a bad ball, he might still be able to catch it behind him. But because you have two problems at the same time, Derek Carr's pass and Chris Olave's route being a little soft there, it ends up being an incompletion. Now, if Derek Carr, either one of these, if run better by either person, covers the other person's mistake. This is why it's important for me to talk about responsibility for problems being multi-layered. It's never just this guy, or rarely just this guy or just that guy. If either one of these guys had done their job better, then the play probably still works. If Chris Olave is crisper on his break, then even if the ball's behind him, he probably has the separation needed to bring it in. If Derek Carr throws the pass in front of him, it doesn't really matter if Chris Olave ran his route not as crispy as he should, because he still has the ball to get it in a spot that only he can reach it. Because both of them don't go 100% here, well, the ball is now in play for the DB, who originally didn't have positioning to make a play on the ball. And I think that's the frustration is, it needs to be identified that multiple players at any given time are screwing up or not playing perfect. One more here of him basically being a little bit of a decoy, and that's okay. He's going to have a little sit route to open things up for Boston Moreau. Perfect pass. One of actually Derek Carr's better throws because he throws with anticipation of the window real quick, but Olave has to sell it. So he's going to attack inside. So he's attacking this outside shoulder. He wants to get him to commit, and then he's going to break outside. Whole goal was to get this guy to stay committed to the flat, which he did, and to sell the route as an out route so that this guy stays committed. That means that Moreau basically has one guy that he has to worry about, so he has to get underneath with a corner route. So in terms of design, this is really good and a really job well done by Olave. He does a great job to sit it and sell. He does just enough to actually sell the route that the outside DB has to stay committed or chooses to stay committed to the flat. You see right now, see how he's sitting? See how as soon as Olave breaks because he sold the route very well? Look at the intention of the DBs. So now all Moreau has to do is break inside, be underneath the dropping DB for the corner route. And if Carr throws with anticipation and touch, then this ends up being a big gain. And that's exactly what it is. Throws at his break, hits him right there. It's a great play. And it's Olave being a very effective distraction there because of the fear that he can bring defenses. All right, I like to talk pre-snap reads a lot. You clearly have got a two top here, which means middle of the field open. I say it ad nauseum. You got a little bit of pressure here, but your pre-snap read should tell you one thing. Chris Olave is about to be wide the hell open. Works outside, breaks back inside. Derek Carr still got the ball here. He's got pressure behind him. But welcome to the NFL, right? Like, I'm not about to just say that you should check it down every single time. Look at Chris Olave just screaming for it. And I get it. Now, to be fair, let's watch it from another angle, right? We're going to watch it from the best possible angle for Derek Carr. Is that pressure enough to where it should be scaring him to getting this ball down short and dumping it off? Well, you kind of decide for yourself. So this play is a 4 verticals variant, right? Pressure right there coming off the edge just a little bit, but you're still clean, right? Let me roll it back. Now, when it comes to these type of plays, it's important to remember there's several layers, and I know I've been saying that a lot, but when it comes to depth, if you're from the gun, you're already in a 3-step drop. You're probably going to drop back 2 steps, which is about a 5. You're generally not going to go all the way to a 7, but it depends. So the reason I'm saying all that is because as an offensive tackle, you have a depth called the arc that you're expected to protect. Those are 2 very ugly arcs, but there's an arc you're expected to protect. If the quarterback gets into this zone, it's no longer on the offensive tackle if you get sacked, right? So even if they are letting a guy do what's called run the arc, meaning he gets upfield and he gets close to the quarterback, as long as it's inside the pocket, it's fine. And it's something that's really important for you as a fan to remember. The pocket is not just this, which is always kind of gets like shown as almost like this half moon thing. No, the pocket is a pocket. It's a circle. There is a pocket that you want to set as an offensive lineman. It starts here, but it wraps all the way around because if the quarterback gets back here, he's in no man's land. That's no longer your offensive tackle is not expected to block 8-9 yards backfield. That is not their job. So why does all this get said by Rev? Because he hits his drop. You have a little bit of pressure to the left side there, but it's still behind you in the arc. You're at the back of that arc. You have the spot to step up, and you have got D-A-Y-L-I. Oh my God, daylight. This is a touchdown. This is a touchdown. I get that pressure's a thing. We don't want to get sacked. Cool. This is a touchdown. So, like, yes, there are plays where Chris Olave takes effort off, and I absolutely agree. You call out a player when they aren't giving 100%. But there's also plays like this that are there. By the way, I hate this design. I hate when there's 2 guys right next to each other. Stop doing this, Pete Carmichael. But beyond that, this is a 4 verse type idea. Bam. Middle. Michael Thomas has drugged this guy. This safety is responsible for 2 people. Bam. Bam. It's there. The arc is clean enough. He takes a hit. But here's the thing. If you're going to take the hit, why take it for the check down? Let it rip, man. There's nobody there. Nobody's going to intercept this ball. If Derek Carr would have thrown it and it falls incomplete at the 15 or something, I'm not even mad. Like if he underthrows Derek Carr here because he's getting hit, I'm not going to come at Derek Carr. I'm just not. I'm not going to get frustrated. I get it. But there's nobody here. No one. It's not, the read is simple. It's the post. Anyway, I'm ranting. Anyway, there are problems across the game. Right? You know, last week, Derek Carr really wasn't that much of an issue. He truly wasn't. Against Houston, he was not that bad. This game, he has a lot of misses. And we can blame it on the offensive line. We can blame it on other things. But at the end of the day, you know, if you don't do well, you get called out. This is a miss. Like, the offensive line's not perfect there. But if you're taking a hit and you know that there's nobody there, throw the football. Or, as we like to say on the Who Dat Confessional podcast, pull the trigger! Which is why Chris Olave is mad. By the way, if you're curious why I call this 4 verts, this is a 3x1 variant that the New Orleans Saints actually have run for about 15 years. where landmarks stay the same. When it comes to running routes, landmarks typically don't change. So in 4 verts, the landmarks are numbers, hash, hash, numbers. So it stays the same here, right? So even though you got Michael Thomas inside, he's going to break right here and then make a little bit of an adjustment where they're going to break inside that, then right there, and then you're going to have this little underneath route, which is just an audible. It's going to be like a Y drag where you change up the call. Basic premise is still the same though, right? Pre-snap read, middle of the field open. Chris Olave's got a tutty here. He's got a tutty. That pocket's collapsing, but you still got time. You still got it. All right, one last one, and this one is going to be on Chris Olave messing up. It happens, right? Chris Olave has a full-on drop there. There's no other word to describe that but a drop. Now, if you watch the route, watch is another 3x1 set. They're going to show pressure. Carr does a great job to read this and know where to go. Sits the hole, and for some reason, Olave stumbles like he's trying to work back instead of just continuing into the zone, and that causes him to drop it. But even then, if you watch it from this other angle I'm going to show you, doesn't matter. He just straight drops it. It's literally in his hands, and it's through. So you do definitely have issues where Derek Carr is not playing at a high level. You have issues where Pete Carmichael's play calling can be off. Then you also have a guy who should be playing and is expected to be the number 1 receiver doing that. I mean, it's right here. Like, there's nobody around you. There's a football. You got to catch it. If you are number 1 receiver on the team, like you're the guy that everybody says is the best, you got to catch that ball. No excuse. So, again, theme of this video, layers to the problems. Derek Carr had some terrible reads and misses in this game. Chris Olave, still, for a few weeks now, has had low effort and then some drops. It's just, you can't do that, right? But the whole focus, especially on that primary play being on Chris Olave, no. We don't bench him. We definitely don't trade him. And he's not the biggest problem on this team by a long shot. All right, Saints fans, normally don't put out film on the weekend, but since we had Thursday night game, you're getting it today. I mean, honestly, I feel pretty strongly about what I've said. You know, Derek Carr can have problems. We call him out. Derek Carr is a mid-tier quarterback. My biggest problem with Derek Carr is not even the misses. It's the acting like a frustrated young man. I hate to call him a child, but yeah, I have more of an issue with him chewing out Olave than missing the post route that I just showed you a couple plays ago. I've got a much bigger issue with that. Progress your reads, do your job, right? You know, so I came into the season with expectations on Carr being that he's a mid-tier guy. I didn't expect top 10 play, and I've been more critical on Pete Carmichael because I do believe that Pete Carmichael is the bigger problem. But the whole narrative that has gotten spun about Chris Olave, I think is really wrong and misguided. Like, no, the New Orleans Saints don't need to get rid of Chris Olave. No, the New Orleans Saints don't need to trade him or bench him. And yes, they still should be giving him the football and finding ways to take advantage of how good he is. At the same time, there are problems everywhere right now. Missing 2 starters on the offensive line definitely plays into how your quarterback plays. Your quarterback making bad decisions definitely plays into how your receiver plays. At the end of the day, these guys got to be professional. And at the end of the day, this offense has got to get their crap together so they can get back to winning football games. If you enjoyed the film study, which I hope you did, do me a huge solid. Like it. That's all you got to do. Like the film study, subscribe to the channel, share it out with your other Who Dat Nation friends, and hopefully the next film study is more positive. Maybe we'll do a defensive film study, right? Who Dat, God bless. Catch you on the next one. Deuces, that's me. We outie.